Okay, so to do this tessellation, you want to take your ruler and put it along the edge of your paper and put a little mark at the 2-inch mark, and then turn the paper and do the same again. Find 2 inches, mark the edge of your ruler. So what we're doing is we're making a 2-inch by 2-inch box, right? And then go from here on your 2 inches and put a dot. Okay, now you can draw your line. 2 inches and 2 inches. So you get a little 2-inch box. Okay, gotta be careful when you do this or it won't come out right. It'll be crooked. Okay, next, collect your little box. Cut it straight on the lines. That's important for this project. Okay, now comes the part for making your design. So you want to make a line that goes across your paper like this. You can make it jagged, curved, however you want. Then you want to also do the same the other direction. Don't make it too complex because you have to cut it. Okay, once you've got your pattern drawn, then it's time to cut it. But when you cut it, you have to pay attention to how you set your pieces down. This is very important, because if you don't set your pieces down right, it's not going to work for you. I'm going to cut it out exactly on the lines that I drew. Okay. Next, make sure they go down right in the same place. If you're making a jigsaw puzzle, cut them here and cut my shape. Okay. And cut this one, put it down exactly in the right place, so that what you have basically is a jigsaw puzzle, right? Okay, now I'm going to show you in the next segment how to flip this around for your tessellation. Okay, now remember a compass rose. We've talked about a compass rose before. So if we have a compass rose, okay, we know north, south, east, and west. So this corner is northwest, this corner is southeast, this corner is northeast, and this corner is southwest. Okay, remember that. So over here, you want to switch your pieces in this way. You want to take the northwest piece, hang on, okay, and you want to switch places with the southeast piece, okay? Then you want to switch southwest with northeast. Now you've got your pieces switched. Then we're going to tape them together. Now we're not going to tape it up here like this. You see, you got to make the 4 corners meet. There, 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 and there. That's how we're going to tape it, with all the 4 corners meeting. Okay, part 3. Now we're going to tape our tessellation together. It's pretty important that you, actually this isn't our tessellation, it's our pattern piece, making our tessellation. Again, you can see I'm being very careful here about lining up my corners. And then, that piece of tape's too big. When I'm getting the tape on, got to keep the corners together. So find a way, try again. We hold them, boom. Okay, I got those 2. Now let me get these 2. Remember, corners to corners. There it is. Now I can put them together. Well, this is very important that you make your pattern very exact, or your tessellation won't work. There it is. Now I got them together. I'm going to put one more piece for our extra measure. But don't put any tape in any of your pattern marks. Okay, now I'm going to take my piece of cardstock that my pattern is going to go on. Okay, you got to decide which direction you're going to trace your pattern on, and then you're going to have to do it the same every time. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to take my corners, you know, the sharpest sticking out points, and line them right up to the edge. You see? See how those are lined to the edge? Okay, I'm going to hold it firm, and I'm going to trace it. Trace carefully all the way down into all of the marks there. See? Around, holding it firm. Okay, and this one, in this little pattern I made, it goes up in there. Make sure you get that. That's very important, and you'll see why. I don't want to have a lot of extra in there, so okay, moving my fingers, finishing the tracing. Okay, lift your tracer. Oops, see, I left a part out. Very important. Line it back up. You gotta be exact here. Whoop, there it goes. Now watch this. When I move, so there's my pattern. When I move my piece over, it fits exactly. Look at that. See that? Look closely. Perfect match. Whoop, whoop. So I'm going to hook that in there. And look, my point still needs to hit the top edge of the paper. So whatever your pattern repeats, make sure you keep it square. Now I don't have to draw this side because it's already drawn, but I'm going to keep drawing. I'm going to keep tracing now. And I'm going to move my pattern and do this again and again and again. Okay, so I'm moving along on the second row, and I want you to notice that as I'm doing this, I only need to draw the bottom row and the other side because I already have this side and I already have my top. Okay, something else has happened here is it's not a perfect science, so it's starting to not match up. As you can see, there's the top line and here's the edge of my pattern. So somehow it's gotten off a little tiny bit, so you need to be a little bit particular here in how you do this. So try to line up the sides with the line that's there as best you can, and try to line up the top. Get it in there, and then you can see again there's a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to improvise while I do this pattern piece to try to get us back on track. I'm going to kind of start it where it should start, right here. Okay, even though there's this little gap in here. So I'm going to kind of start there and bring it around on my pattern. You don't want to do too much of that, or you're going to end up not having a proper tessellation, which, if you recall, is a repeating pattern that is the same over and over again. So hopefully I've corrected my mistake now with that slight adjustment on that one. And indeed it looks like I have. So I can continue and finish this one over here. Okay, so after I get 2 rows, I'm starting my 3rd row across. I'm going to have a unique situation on the bottom row. So I'm going to do just this piece right now, and then I'm going to skip to the bottom row here so that you can see how to handle this when you get there with your pattern. Of course, everyone's going to be different. Okay, so I've got this last piece. And instead of going sideways right now, I want to show you what happens when I go down. Okay, to fit it on, lo and behold, it's off the paper. But that's quite alright, because your pattern could repeat infinitely. And we're only showing the part of the pattern that fits on an 8.5 by 11 page. So go ahead and line it up on the top and on the side, and you just won't draw the bottom. Obviously you'll draw right to the edge of the paper. So I'll start here. I'll do this side. And then I'll come around and I'll do this side. And I'll stop there. Now I'm going to finish up my pattern. And on the next video segment, I'll begin to color my pattern. Oh, one more thing, boys and girls. Got to put the final touches on the top. I can't just leave this open space there. I got to fit my pattern in on the top and see what I have to draw there to make it fit. When I do, I have to put this line and this line over here to make my point. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't know how to color these spaces. So I'm going to go along the top and add the lines that need to be added. Again, just like a jigsaw puzzle, it's fitting perfectly. Put that line, I move it over, fit it in, mark that line, move it over, fit it in, and mark the final line. Now I've got my full pattern. So to start coloring, I will color these, but I kind of want to start with a big one. So I'm going to start by making this one red. The two colors I'm going to use are red and blue. So I'm going to color this one in. Okay, you get the idea. And then the next one is going to get colored in blue. Now, of course, they're going to get colored in perfectly, right up to the line. Just want you to get going on yours. You'll come back and look at mine in a minute. Okay, so I have my first two patterns colored, and I just want to again point out that you want to alternate. That includes in the small spaces around the edges. So of course this one is going to be the opposite color here, and the whole part. Don't get thrown off by your pattern if it's got pieces that jut up. Okay, this is still all part of the whole other pattern piece that extends off the page. So this one would be blue. Okay. And this is the kind of coloring where you don't want to go over the lines. This is really important for our tessellation, that our pattern is exact. So of course this one's now going to be red, at least for my pattern. And of course this one's going to be red. And this one would be blue. You get the idea. And down here, the red is here. And the blue is here. And don't forget your edges. The red would be here and here, because this is all part of the pattern if it were to extend that way. So keep going on your pattern till it's done. And as you can see, the finished product. Ta-da! A tessellation. Mathematics in art.